Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. Hey, Michael and Beatdown Brigaders, as the markets are crashing today, Donald Trump had a very important announcement that he had to make today. He wanted everybody to buy Teslas. Yes, he was doing product placement in front of the White House moments ago. He went into the Tesla while people's 401ks are in the tank, pensions being destroyed, retirements gutted, life savings thrown out because of his idiotic and destructive trade wars and chaos. This is what he was doing. Here, let's play this.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow.
Yes, we now do product placement apparently outside of the White House.
Hey, Ben, can I ask you a quick question here?
Sure.
Isn't there a law that says if any government employee receives an item that's greater than, I think it's $25, that they have to pay for it or they have to donate it to the U.S. government?
The fallacy of your logic right there is starting off with saying the Trump administration next to is there a law, because those two things are like magnets that repel each other. But I think you raise a good point. If the White House is selling, advertising Teslas with somebody there, that's a value. And yeah, I think that's an obvious violation of a lot of different things. Yeah, maybe I'll do a take on that. Maybe you should do a take on that also. Let me show you what he did. So he starts selling the Teslas. Markets tanking again. What it's down, the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P. I mean, just down so much where, frankly, when I open up the 401k, it's like it's like a physical pain when I look at it right now. And then he goes out of the Tesla, and what's he talking about? He's talking about how unfairly America, he's going after Canada again. Here, just watch what he says.
Not going to do that, so I respect that. But we were just informed that he's not going to do that. Look, we've been treated very unfairly by Canada. We've been treated very unfairly by Mexico. But we've been treated very unfairly by every country all over the world. The European Union is horrible, horrible. And we're going to get it back.
Yeah, one of the things
great
that we're seeing.
Friends, but Ben, if it wasn't for our great friends Russia and China and North Korea and Saudi Arabia, this country would be in the toilets, right? I mean, how ridiculous is what he's saying? And I'm scared. I'm really scared to think that he's going to continue with this trade war when it comes to China, our closest ally. I mean, I truly don't understand this new blame game from Canada.
Canada, you meant?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard. You got to keep track of all of your trade wars, Michael Cohen. There's the trade wars against Mexico, the trade wars against Canada. He seems to be the lightest on Canada and the hardest on the lightest on China, the hardest on Canada, and then
honestly, it goes without
President Claudius.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes without saying that we are right now in this upside down, topsy-turvy world where what's normal is abnormal, what is logical is illogical. He started out that little presser there saying, we just heard that they're not going to do it. Let me tell you what he was talking about in case you're not aware. What he's talking about is Premier Ford of Ottawa turned around and said that he was going to impose tariffs, expenses on Americans, specifically the Northeast, who they give a shit ton of energy to. Now, let me just tell you, I did a hot take on it on my YouTube channel, The Michael Cohen Show, where I talked about exactly what that means. I also wrote a Substack on it. What does it mean? It means that people who are just getting by are going to have higher electrical prices because we receive electricity, we receive energy from Canada that is less than what it's going to take to cost for us to produce it, least of all, the fact that we're not even capable of producing it. All right. So we are now going to have to deal with increased costs to heat homes like in upstate New York, or as the electricity bill starts coming in, because we're expected to have a very hot summer. How are people going to pay for their energy bills, their air conditioning bills? They're not. And these are the same people, many of whom are trying to troll us, many of whom continue to try to troll Midas Touch Network, Political Beatdown, my Mea Culpa podcast, my Michael Cohen YouTube channel. They try to troll us all. You stupid people, are the ones who are going to also be hurt, because people who use electricity in the Northeast are not specifically Republican. They're not Democrat. They're not independent. They are made up and comprised of all of our political parties. So many people, many people who voted for Trump will be feeling the brunt of this stupidity.
It's absolute stupidity. And it just is so reminiscent, though. I think about how Trump would litigate things. And when he would litigate things, everything was to push things off 30 days and delay, even when he was on the offense, because he would be afraid to sit for a deposition or whatever it would be, or when he was being sued. The whole point was just to delay. And then he would utilize the time suck as a way to wear people down with time. And so I just think about everything that they're doing. And it's like, all right, we're going to push these tariffs to April 2nd now, and then we're going to push it to this day. And then he, continues the annexation talk. And like, we're now stuck in all of these different chaotic 30-day cycles. And the issue is that the impact of the brunt of what he's already doing now, it's hitting us now, but it's really going to hit us in the summer, because all of the habits are changing. So the fact that we're even being hit now, that's the somewhat surprising part, because the economists will tell you they know that we're going to get hit, but they expect that in the summer and beyond. So now these things, even if he changes them, Cohen, even if they're like no tariffs tomorrow, the damage is done based on what's occurred over these past chaotic weeks that will be felt in a few weeks and months.
But if he reversed course, like we all know that he should, if he stops this horse shit about imposing tariffs on Canada, on Mexico, on China, if he reverses it, which he can't do that, because that would then mean that he has to acknowledge that he made a mistake, and our fearless leader is incapable of doing that. What would ultimately happen is there would be an immediate correction, because the markets, these top 20, these top 30 companies that basically control the swings of the market, they would start to feel some stability that, okay, look, it happened the other day. Boom, it's not going to happen. Things are going to go back. You would start to see an immediate jump in the market. And for a guy, meaning Trump, who basically looks at the market the same way he looks at his ratings, his popularity ratings, he's failing to understand he is tanking the market. And no matter how many times he's going to turn around and blame sleepy Joe Biden and that this is a leftover from the Biden administration, we all know it's not true. And those people who don't know that it's not true are not people who are in or affected by the market anyway. They don't have 401ks, they don't have stocks, they don't have things like that in the portfolio. But right now, as it stands, I believe the country has lost just shy of $9 trillion of market value. And I want that to sit and ring, just let that sit on your conscience for a moment, and let your brain process just shy of $9 trillion.
Let me show you more from whatever that press Tesla product placement event was. where Donald Trump says that our country's been stripped of its jobs and its factories, and I'm tired of seeing where they build apartments. Here, play this clip.
Stock is You're going to have drops, and markets are going to go up and they're going to go down.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have to rebuild our country. Our country has been stripped of its jobs, of its factories. And I'm tired of seeing where they build apartments, cheap apartments in an old broken down factory.
I mean, dude, you're running it now. So you promised to make housing more affordable on day one. I mean, just think, we often get, there's so much crisis that he creates, that all of this stuff with the tariff wars and the Greenland and all of that, let's just assume, Cohen, tariffs get fixed, meaning he just withdraws the unilateral war he declared on Canada. Say he removes that. Let's say he stops talking about conquering Greenland and Panama and all of that. Let's just say he stops that, right? The things that he said he was going to do, though, was lowering the prices on day one, and now prices are surging. He promised to make housing more affordable. They're not doing that. He promised no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. I don't see that anywhere in the MAGA Republicans' continuing resolution. It's nowhere at all to be found because they lie about everything. The only thing that we know exists is $4.5 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires, $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid, 350 billion or so cuts to education, about the same amount of hundreds of billions of dollars in cuts to agriculture, cuts to infrastructure. Donald Trump saying he wants to eliminate and get rid of the CHIPS Act, which brought the semiconductor industry here to the United States. So even if all of these things have, even if he stops the tariffs against Canada, what the hell are we even talking about here? And as he keeps talking about, over and over again, he goes, this is what he's been saying all day. And this is what Caroline Levitt's been saying all day. This is what he's been posting on his social media, that the border between the United States and Canada is an artificial one. It's artificial, right? I mean, this is coming from the guy who's Mr. Border, build a wall. I guess that just relates to Mexicans. But when it comes to Canada, that border here, pull it up just so people, I want to show the receipts just so you see that, like, I'm not paraphrasing him. Trump says the only thing that makes sense as for Canada is to become our cherished 51st state. This would make all the tariffs and everything else totally disappear. And then he goes, the artificial line of separation drawn many years ago will finally disappear, and we will have the safest and most beautiful nation anywhere in the world. And your brilliant anthem, O Canada, will continue to play, but now representing a great and powerful state within the greatest nation that the world has ever seen. Michael Cohen, Beatdown Brigaders. That's not language of a trade war. That's language of war. Those are words, not just fighting words. Those are declaration of war language. If somebody said to me, and they were walking down my block and they came to my home and they said, that's my home. You're going to give that home to me. I get your home. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me. And you're going to enjoy renting your home, and I will be your landlord, and you will like it. I would view that individual as hostile and as someone who's about to rob me. And that's not someone who I want to make deals with. And as Donald Trump is out there threatening constantly Canada with words like that, this is not funny. This isn't a movie. This is not some reality show mock United Nations game. Those are war words against our ally. So I don't know, Cohen. I mean, if you're in Canada, there's a reason why the boycott of American goods, no matter what happens with these tariffs, they're done. They see a hostile regime taking its land. You think they want to buy American products, buy Kentucky bourbon? Of course not.
They're already not. and more importantly than already not, they have already made it crystal clear that they don't care what Trump says. We heard Premier Ford turn around and say it. One of the things that Donald, who was probably using this tough talk language in order to create some sort of a stronghold or a superior bargaining, negotiating position, what he failed to understand, and these acolytes, these sycophants, these morons these moron enablers that are surrounding him, they never turned around and said to him, as I would sometimes when I'm talking, for example, with you, Ben, or as I used to speak with Donald in the past, I always like to take the contrarian position. What if hypothetically, okay, let's use Canada. What if hypothetically they turn around and they say, no problem. One, we're not buying your, what was it, soy, like what happened the last time. And now the United States is not the largest exporter of soy, right? What if hypothetically, who did that hurt? It hurt our farmers. Oh yeah, farmers for Trump, right? That's a half fuck you on that one. Then you go ahead and you say, well, who else it could get hurt here? Well, there's a ton of medicine that's manufactured in Canada. We're not going to send that medication to the United States without the tariff attached to that. Well, that sounds like another little fuck you to the United States. Let's just keep going here. Aluminum, that's going to hurt automobiles and manufacturing. When it's steel, it's going to hurt automobiles again, manufacturing, as well as construction. Oh yeah, let's talk about soft lumber, where the bulk of the lumber, soft lumber, comes from Canada to the United States. Oh, Donald says, no fucking problem. It's no problem. We'll just start. I will sign an executive order allowing the complete degradation of whatever lands that we have that have this type of lumber on it. Okay, fantastic. How are you going to cut the lumber? Right? I mean, there's a process. It's not just having a bunch of assholes with chainsaws, like having Elon Musk show up in a bunch of Teslas and a bunch of his, like big balls showing up with, with red chainsaws and chopping trees down. Now you have to process it. You got to get it to the mill. The mill has to strip the wood. Then it has to cut it to the size, the specs that you need, and so on. Right? We don't have that in this country, not at least enough in order to sustain the amount of loss that we're going to suffer as a result of this trade war. I mean, don't you think, Donald, that maybe before we start talking about manufacturing shit, we should actually build the facilities within which to manufacture or do the things? Or do you think that we go to Costco and Walmart and we buy inflatable manufacturing shit? Really? Do you know how long it takes even just to build a lumber mill? Seriously? And where are we putting this? Who's going to own it? I mean, nobody yet has it. This is so stupid. It's so stupid. If you really want to go ahead and you want to start bringing back manufacturing to this country, which, by the way, will never happen because of Social Security, workers' comp, insurance, how much you have to pay each individual union, for example, it's never going to happen because we could buy the materials. We could buy them processed and ready to go cheaper and much cheaper than what it costs us to even do it. So when they turn around, they tell you, for example, that Americans want to pay more. No, they don't. All right. Hence why you have things like Amazon and Costco and Walmart. Seriously, like Myers. Americans don't want to pay more. We are so used to paying less. And the reason we pay less, Ben, it's because we import a lot of these goods from countries that don't have the restrictions that we have. They send it to us. We don't have the facilities yet within which to acknowledge what Trump is saying.
We were building the facilities, though. I mean, as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, the Infrastructure Act, and the CHIPS Act, collectively, that investment was saying, look, what are the jobs of the future going to look like? And to your point, Michael Cohen, there are a lot of jobs in the past that the assembly line process, the materials are indeed cheaper overseas. And it's also very difficult to create profitable or sustainable businesses on those things. But they're still a major place for American manufacturers in this century. And former President Biden was recognizing that. How could we be the leaders in the semiconductor industry? I know that MAGA likes to attack everything that has potentially benefits to the climate. But in addition to helping the climate, some of these green jobs were major job creators in red states with factories being created. And I remember all of the headlines during former President Biden's term, well, by the Midas Touch Network at least, are coming out of the White House. And then towards the end of people recognizing that America was actually going through a manufacturing boom. Despite Donald Trump's attempt to demean and defame places like Cleveland and Detroit and other cities that he perceived as either democratic or cities having diverse populations, as him saying that these are shit cities or bad cities, whatever words he used, those cities were actually beginning to thrive again under former President Biden. That's what makes a lot of this kind of extra tragic, is that if Trump just did nothing, if he kept it on autopilot and then just took credit for Biden's economy, people probably would have looked at Donald Trump erroneously as someone who actually knew what he was doing. But because Donald Trump is that toddler with the building blocks in front of him who needs to just break it down to get attention, and that's the level of lack of intellect that we're dealing with, a psychopath, now we're crushing all of these actually shining achievements. I want to talk about that and more. I want to thank everybody who was able to join us on our Patreon chat this morning. That's where Michael and I have exclusive Zoom chats with our patrons. So it was so cool to do that. The next one we're going to do, maybe in the next 2 weeks, will be after the show. So as soon as the show ends, you'll be able to meet us. It's not on this show because we did one today already, but we'll do one later. So make sure you go to patreon.com/political beatdown. Subscribe to Mea Culpa Blue, the Mea Culpa Blue podcast, not the red one. And check out Michael Cohen's YouTube channel at The Michael Cohen Show. We'll be right back after our first quick break.
When your car breaks down, you take it to a mechanic with no hesitation. I mean, you need it, and it's not something most guys can fix themselves. Look, I know I can't, and men should think the exact same way about ED. But the reality is, you might be hesitant to seek help. Well, thankfully, through HIMS, you can get access to personalized ED treatment without ever stepping outside your door. HIMS is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort, get a load of that, of your own couch. HIMS provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable Hardmints and Viagra and Cialis and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. You hear that? 95% cheaper. The process, it's also 100% online, so that there's no need for uncomfortable doctor visits. What you do is you just answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. And if prescribed, your medication, well, it ships directly to you for free. And there's no insurance needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Now, with hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, HIMS can help you find the ED option that works best for you. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/beat. That's HIMS.com/beat for your personalized ED treatment options. Again, that's hims.com/beat. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required, and price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Welcome back. It's Political Beatdown. Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. Cohen, see this photo of Caroline Levitt that we made, like the pink dress lady right there? You like that one? Or what do you think about this one?
I do. I mean,
with J.D. Vance. Let's show you the J.D. Vance one right there. This above J.D. Vance there, that's real. I mean, that's not J.D. Vance actually wearing a pink dress. But maybe he did before. But this is what it says. It was another week filled with endless wins for the American people under President Donald J. Trump. That's actually the message that they're posting. And let me just show you how some of these MAGA Republicans are trying to kind of cope and deal with this. This first clip I'll show you is from Mike Johnson, MAGA Republican Speaker of the House. Here's what he has to say about how he describes the economy crashing. Here, let's play this clip.
He's got to reshake and shape things because it's in a real mess. The last 4 years was a disaster in economic policy and every other measurement of public policy. So what President Trump is doing, I think of it sort of like when you're playing billiards and you're playing pool, right? You go on the table and the balls are racked, right? And you hit it as hard as you can. This is many people's strategy in the game. You hit it as hard as you can to break up the balls on the table and send them to spread. Then you play the strategy of sinking them in the holes, right? That's what we're doing right now. It is a shakeup. And he said there's going to be a shakeup right now, but this is what's required, in my mind, to start the process of repairing and restoring the American economy. I believe that the strategy is going to work. I believe that, sometimes when you shake up, that it's a violent thing on the table, right? In the game metaphor. But it always works out well in the end. And I think you've got to give him time. He's been in office for just over, 50 days. This is the 51st day in office. Give the president a chance to have these policies play out. That's where we are on it.
It's just like pool. It's like billiard. Here, by the way, is MAGA Republican Congress member Steve Scalise, Republican from Pyongyang. Here, play this clip.
Last week, all Americans who watched the State of the Union saw a very triumphant President Trump who's returned to the White House with even more energy, more vigor, and more focus to work for the American people than ever before. Laying out in just 6 short weeks how much he's already done to fulfill the promises of the campaign.
Here's MAGA Republican Congress member Tom Emmer.
Last week, we celebrated President Trump's countless victories for the American people during his joint address to Congress. This week, Congress must pass a continuing resolution so the American people can continue to enjoy win after win after win. This is the way forward. But unfortunately, Democrats in Congress would rather throw temper tantrums fueled by their hatred for President Trump than keep the government open and working for all Americans.
How are these human beings? Like, I'm trying to even understand.
Well, there's nothing here, Ben, to understand. All right. If I turned around and said to you, like, remember there was what was his name? John Lovitz used to have that show, right, where he was the liar, and he'd be like, I invented electricity, sure, right? And then I'm gonna sit there and have you, Ben, and Brett, your brother, and Jordy, and my wife, and my kids come out and say, no, Michael invented electricity. Everybody knows it's a lie, right? We all are watching as we know that they're lying. They're all reading of the same talking points memo that the rest of us used to do in 2015, 2016 during the campaign. They're all saying the same fucking thing over and over. They're just saying it in their own tone. It's complete and total horse shit, right? All you need to do is look at facts. You see, one of the things that neither Ben nor I approve of, nor do we permit, whether it's on Political Beatdown, on any of the Midas Touch Network programs, my Mea Culpa podcast, Nothing But the Truth, our Substacks, whatever it might be. Nothing but facts, no innuendo, no opinion. All right? It's not about my opinion. It's not about Ben's opinion. It's about taking a fact, providing it to you, the listener, the watcher, the viewer, and then you make the determination what is true and what isn't true based upon the presentation of facts. That's just how we do it. And not because we're both lawyers who have some trial experience, but because that's how it works. So when you look, for example, at Joe Biden's economy, you look at where the market was at, and the market is only one indicator. And you look at our relationships with our allies around the world. And then you look at how we were handling issues with our adversaries. Well, now fast forward to the 51, 52 days, it's more than that, by the way, that Trump has now been in office. And let's see where the market is at. Let's see what's happened to people's 401k. Let's listen to the conversations about how they intend to gut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, VA, and so on. Let's go ahead and then analyze, right, where we are in the world as far as our relationships go with our allies. Where is our relationship today during this Trump administration with our adversaries? What is the scenario going on with Russia-Ukraine war? What is the scenario going on with Israel-Hamas? Do I need to go on ad infinitum? And the answer is no. And all of this is ascertainable and verifiable by yourselves using Google. Just Google it if you want to know that the stock market now is down like 8%, that your groceries are up 20%, that gasoline is up 8-9%. These are facts. Just go to the pump yourself. Don't even go to Google. Just go to the gas station and see whether or not it's risen in the last 50, 60 days. And the answer is it has. It has for me. All right. And if there's a place that's out there that the price of gas has gone down, let me know. Maybe I'll move there. But that's the point. That's the point of this network. That's the point of this Political Beatdown show. Our goal is to provide you with facts and use those facts in order to determine whether what we are saying is true or not. And you know how I know that you all know that it's true? Because more and more people are coming to this network every single day, making it the #1 independent network out there, beating out the Joe Rogans of the world. And by the way, be very sure of this one. Just look at the list of the most popular podcasts, and you'll see that the right wing has most of them, but they don't have it over this network. They don't have it over the Midas Touch network. That they don't, and there's a reason why.
You know, I still feel that Trump gets graded on this like curve of a flunky, and like all the expectations for him are so low that if he can just simply get through a day and not do the stupidest things imaginable or ever. It's, you know, when you watch live, sometimes you get the dogs in the background and you get the ambient noise. If he just can get through the day and not do the stupidest things imaginable, that's viewed as like a shining success. I mean, I'm not going to go down this path, but I'll just simply say it for now. Could you imagine if there was a Democratic leader running the country right now and any of this type of stuff happened? Like, not only would there be an instant impeachment already, there would be an arrest, you know, based on the stuff, because, you know, what Trump and Musk and others have been doing would seem, by many legal scholars' assessments, to violate some of the most basic tenets of our Constitution and legal precedent. I'll leave it there. But somehow this is, you know, Trump holds a press conference, a product placement event for Tesla, and the fact that that's even viewed as like, well, you know, it's just Trump being Trump. It's the craziest thing. That's why I say you can never normalize any of this at all, ever, ever, ever. Let me just show you this, though, Cohen. I wanted to get this image up, and Jeremy, we could pull it up now. This is what it looks like when Kim Jong-un walks in to whatever you want to even call that. I don't know if they call it their parliament or whatever, their government building, where the people in his party, you know, all clap for him. And I think it's important, our audio listeners, you should check this out so you can see what it looks like in this image, because it looks just like what the Republican Party has become, to how they're clapping, bowing, how they treat him. And, we used to look at this here in the United States with disdain, mockery. This could never happen here, that was weakness. How could that ever happen? You think about some of these movies that were out there as well, like The Dictator with Sacha Baron and Cohen, that movie where the dictator came in with like camels and like the cult following behind them. And I just think about it. And what we can forget is those North Koreans are people. The human psyche, there's nothing that leaves people. The human psyche is not impervious to whatever the hell this is. And as I just think about MAGA Mike Johnson and the Republicans, I think to myself, this is in America. Like this exists. And
And
the party
one of
that
the
created
craziest things I've ever heard is when Trump was first speaking with Kim Jong-un, going back into the first administration. One of the things that I had heard is that and they have people who are going through the videos. If we can go back to it, I know it's disgusting, but I want to go through it one last time because I want to point something out. They actually go through these videos. All right. I'm talking about his inner circle, his people. And God forbid you don't have a smile on your face. God forbid you are not clapping your hands as hard as you possibly can, as quickly as you can. They will come to your home. They will pull you out of your home, and they will do everything bad to you that you could imagine, in the same line as Stalin used to do it. You are right up there simply because you are an acolyte. You are in that. And look at this guy in the back there, clapping there, screaming with his hands like that. It looks like his wrists are breaking. That's what Kim Jong-un wants to see. And God forbid you don't give him what he wants to see. You will be seeing him tied to the side of a tree with him holding a fucking rocket launcher in order to blow it up like he did to his uncle. That's what we're talking about. And I hate to say it, that's what Trump wants too.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it looks like. Oh, and then you have Lara Trump on Fox saying that what we all should be doing, Cohen, is
kissing his feet.
Kissing the feet of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Here, play this clip.
We cannot survive as a country. So people ought to be kissing the feet of Elon Musk and Donald Trump for being the two people to actually do this.
I don't even know how this, how is what I'm showing real life? That they have the daughter-in-law who used to run the RNC, who has a horrific voice, who plugs her singles and her songs that she's doing, who throws these weirdo fundraisers at Mar-a-Lago with women in bathing suits holding like puppies all the time. That's on Fox and now has a show on something that calls itself a news network. And she's saying that with a straight face, that people need to be kissing the feet.
He should be kissing mein tuchus.
Kissing the feet of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I mean, you know, this is real stuff, Cohen. I mean, you know, it's no joke. I know for Lara Trump, who lives in a palatial mansion paid for off of the grifting of meme coins and whatever it is, you know, that she feels insulated from the pain that Americans are feeling right now. And, you know, and Trump, who on the taxpayer dime, vacations every weekend. I think it was, I don't know how much percentage of his presidency has been playing golf.
28%. He's been on the golf course.
Americans right now are suffering more than ever in recent history and recent memory. People, someone asked me today. I've been doing a lot of these interviews lately, and there was someone on Sirius, and the question was something around, like, how do you have like the courage to do? I go, I don't have. Want to know who the courageous people are? The courageous people are the American workers right now who are every day, they're living paycheck to paycheck, even though they should be, for their work, they should be getting paid a living wage and not have to worry about their rent or their mortgage payments. I said the courageous people are the people right now, every day, who are making sure their family makes it through these incredibly difficult times in the face of Trump and Musk's abject cruelty. I said that's who the courageous people are. And I was just listening to Bernie. I cover all of Bernie Sanders' rallies now because corporate media refuses to do it. And one of the things that Senator Sanders does at these events, when he goes to reddish and purpleless districts, whether it's in Kenosha, Wisconsin, or Altoona, Wisconsin, or Warren, Michigan, is he listens to the people and he asks the people, what's it like to live paycheck to paycheck? And people are saying psychological warfare. Will I be able to send my kids to the doctor, or will we have to forego a meal this evening? And people are responding like that. And so this isn't, when Sean Hannity and Lara Trump and all of these people are making a mockery of people's suffering as well. It saddens me, and as I've been saying over and over again, I'm glad that the Midas Touch Network is doing great and that it's more views than Fox and Rogan. But I keep saying this over and over again. This is not a spike the football moment. People are scared. People are suffering. And I know they're entrusting us with this awesome responsibility to report the facts and tell the truth every single day. And when I show clips like Lara Trump saying, kiss people's feet, kiss their feet, kiss these billionaires' feet, she's saying the words, kiss the feet. And then I know other people move on the next day. And it's like, I don't move on, Cohen. I can't move on. I just heard a Trump saying that we need to kiss the feet while our pensions and our retirement and our life savings and our international alliances and our very identity of what it means to be American, what our grandfathers, what the greatest generation fought for, is just being flushed down the drain by these MAGA psychopaths, Kim Jong-un style clapping. And then they're going, oh, dear leader's doing very good. Dear leader's doing very good. And I go, what the hell happened to the United States of America? We have a lot more to discuss on this episode. Everybody, make sure you hit subscribe here. Let's go to 5 million subscribers. Subscribe to the Mea Culpa Blue podcast. Search Mea Culpa wherever audio podcasts are available. Patreon.com/political beatdown. Patreon.com/political beatdown. We'll be right back after our last quick break where Cohen will give the 2-finger salute.
So we're a month into the new year and things are already getting stressful. Family, the job, life. Maybe you're in search of something to help you take charge of your life and, most importantly, with full mental clarity. Enhance February by embracing CBD with Viaa to experience the powerful benefits of hemp without the high. Trusted by over 500,000 happy customers, Viaa is the Swiss Army knife of wellness. It's dedicated to harnessing the natural benefits of hemp to create high-quality wellness products. Viaa's collection of THC-free products combines minor cannabinoids like CBD, CBG, and CBN with botanical supplements for targeted effects that you can actually feel. So whether you're looking to improve your sleep, focus, or relief, Viaa has something for you. Now, let me tell you, I've tried the THC-free gummies. I do that for sleep. And let me tell you, and anyone who knows me knows that I've had sleep issues my entire life. I mean, for God's sakes, 4 a.m. wake-ups, they just don't cut it when you're my age. I mean, where in God's name has this product been my entire life? Viaa, it's also well known for their award-winning THC-free gummies, vapes, THCA flower, soothing topicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, Viaa legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee, and no medical card is required. So let me share some points about Viaa, and I want to count them off. The first, it's an industry leader with over 500,000 customers served. 2, made in the USA, farmed and crafted with care right here in the United States. 3, award-winning service where you can experience their top-notch customer support. 4, quality ingredients sourced from the finest hemp for your peace of mind and lab tested and certified. And finally, affordable and accessible premium products that will fit your budget. So if you're 21 and older, check out the link to Viaa in our description and use code BEAT, that's B-E-A-T, to receive 15% off. And if you're new to Viaa, you're going to get a free gift of your choice. So after you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. So please help to support our show and tell them that I sent you. This year, enhance your everyday with Viaa.
Welcome back to Political Beatdown.
Yeah, let me be very clear about something. First of all, Ben's having some issues with his Wi-Fi, but we forgive him for that because we love Ben. I want to be very clear about something too. You know, why do we do this? It would be so much easier. Think about it. If instead of coming out and criticizing this administration, bent the knee, kissed the ring, kissed the fucking feet, whatever it might be. Can't do it. Can't do it. I'm not on a revenge tour to those fucking MAGA morons that want to sit there and try to troll us. We do it to educate. We do it to inform. We do it so that come 2026 and beyond, that we actually have a country that we recognize, where our democratic principles prevail. And to those of you that believe that we should all be there to kiss the feet of Donald Trump, you're in the wrong country, because in the United States of America, we have a president. We don't have a king. And those people who want to turn around and say, well, do you still respect the office of the presidency? Yes, I do. And I also respect the Constitution, which gives me the absolute fucking right to say what I want to say without fear of being incarcerated or without fear of the Department of Justice doing to me what they did before under Bill Barr, that are now doing the same thing to this young protester. Don't like what he did, but I have a real concern about our First Amendment fundamental rights. And remember that there's a reason it's the First Amendment, because none of the others can exist without it. The way I see it, it's the denominator to all the amendments. So let me say this to people like Cindy Salazar and to others that want to sit there and criticize, and you bring nothing to the table. Our goal here on this network, our goal in my Mea Culpa podcast and elsewhere, our goal is to provide you with information. You do with it as you wish. Okay? Do with it as you wish, but know one thing. Nothing but the truth is what you're going to get here.
Let me show you this other clip of Lara Trump as well, where she went on Hannity. And so they spent the past, 24 to 48 hours trying to pump the Tesla stock and trying to pump the Trump brand, not the American brand, right? Think about the deal that Trump actually did make in the past 24 to 48 hours. You know what it is, Cohen, right? He made a deal with Bezos to put Apprentice seasons 1 through 7 on Amazon Prime. That was Trump's big deal. And I'm sure, he got a lot of money from Bezos. I bet you Bezos probably paid more than you'd ever have to pay for it, because Cohen, as you predicted too, with these billionaires, by the way, I think they've lost like $215 billion or $300 billion over the past few days as the markets have crashed. But what you predicted brilliantly, or unfortunately and presciently, is you said, you know what he's going to do? He's going to go directly to those billionaires and he's going to say, Give me the money. Give me your money. Give me your money. And when you were saying that, a lot of people were probably thinking, what do you mean? Like, you're just going to like grab it or just go into their accounts? It's a little bit more even like surreptitious than that, right? It is, okay, you want to be cool? Here's what I need. Buy The Apprentice seasons 1 through 7, and you're going to pay a major premium for it. Buy Melania's documentary for $41 million. Settle these cases that I filed against you that you would never have settled in any other environment. Do those things. And then when Trump's asked, well, what are you doing with those things? He's like, well, they're rich. They're richer than me. So why is it whatever? Here's Lara Trump on Hannity talking about how the Trump brand, it's never been hotter. It's super hot right now. Super hot. Play this clip.
And you know, what's happened with Donald Trump is it's never been hotter to get your hands on anything Trump. All the Trump properties are doing fantastically. You know, Trump shoes, you can't get a pair of them even if you try.
I have to get into the mindset of the Trump voter, though, who watches that and goes, that's a win for me. That the Trump brand, with what, building hotels in Riyadh, right? Building in Saudi Arabia, and that an American, that a union worker who's getting their union busted, who's getting screwed over, who's living paycheck to paycheck, whose Medicaid just got gutted, whose prescription drug prices are going back up after Biden lowered them, who after a hard day's work, maybe in the mines, maybe maybe in manufacturing plants, wherever people are, truck drivers, wherever, working hard, they go back, they turn on these Fox Deca millionaires, people worth hundreds of millions of dollars, like Hannity, who are literally just mouthpieces for the oligarchy, who are so rich, and that people hang on to their words. And then Lara Trump says, you need to kiss their feet. And you're like, yeah, let's do it. Or they say the Trump brand, all these Trump resorts. And that fills the worker who's being screwed by this with a sense of vicarious joy. It is, I can be descriptive. I think I can be prescriptive by continuing to provide the antidote, which I hope is the truth, because not a lot of people, I think, present it the way we do here in these types of terms. But I don't really know how to shake someone into saying, whoa, I'm the one being screwed here. It's just so obvious. I don't get it. And it could be an education thing. It could be that the propaganda is so addictive. It's a drug, and it's so strong that you're just filled with your rage algorithm. It could be the shame of admitting that you've lived a lie and that you're wrong, and you don't want to admit it to others because you've already hurt so many people. It could just be that, some human beings.
Yeah, look, let me say this. There's a million things here that's wrong, a million things, but there are things that are right. All right. And we have to remember, as we move forward,
choose
and
evil.
we will be moving forward. We're going to be moving forward to the 2026. It's why, again, we want to bring this network up to 5 million. And then 5 million, I hope that we end up bringing it up to 10 million. Imagine what 10 million people as a community does. Imagine what 25 million people does for this upcoming election and future elections. And that's why we turn around and we say it on a regular basis. Share this with your friends. Make sure that your friends are in the know. Make sure that they're not being guided by misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, like the maggots that are trolling us, all right, who want to turn around and they just want to sow more discontent and anger and divisiveness. We don't need them. We don't. What we need are people who are like-minded, who want to hear facts, to make the determinations for themselves to move forward. And it's to these maggot morons. I give you today the 2 fucking fingers salute. Fuck you, get lost. We're not interested in you being a part of this community because you don't want to be a part of a community that speaks truth to power. In fact, nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier than if Trump was doing a kick-ass job for all Americans, so that I could turn around and I can say, you know what? I called it wrong. I did. I called it wrong. All right. But that's not what's happening. We're watching as grandma and grandpa are losing their ability to afford insulin. We're watching as our veterans, we are losing veterans at the rate of 17 to 22 veterans per day to suicide. This is unacceptable to people who have risked their lives for us. We are watching as Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security are being gutted. For God's sakes, it is time for us to wake up and to understand that facts matter. The truth matters. We can no longer allow the lies to become the truth. And that's what the Republican Party is so goddamn good at. They are good at taking the lie, repeating the lie, regurgitating the lie, watching these MAGA fucking idiots repeat the lie over and over and over again. Again, the stalinistic approach till the lie becomes the truth. Not on our watch.
One of the things too, when people say, well, what do you do? I mean, that's you're describing the problem. What do you do? And I think what Senator Bernie Sanders is doing is the path. I think that Democrats, people who want to stand up for workers, people who want to stand up for our democracy, you need to go into red areas and purplish areas. And while the MAGA Republicans are shutting down their town halls and blaming it on George Soros, you have to go in there and speak to the people, because the people know in these reddish areas that they don't work for George Soros. They know that they work for 2 jobs and that they're still struggling to pay rent. And they don't know if they're going to pay rent next month. And they don't know if they have Medicaid anymore. And a lot of them don't. And they don't know if they're going to be able to access government services like Social Security or anything with this current climate. And you got to speak to them. People don't like Elon Musk going through their private data, and people don't like their privacy being violated. They don't like to see veterans being treated like crap. They don't like to see a Trump regime that's doing everything it can to try to help Vladimir Putin and to harm our alliances. You know, people in America don't like those issues. And so you got to go in there. You got to talk to them. You got to look at them. You got to make that human contact. You got to make that interaction. And we'll cover it the same way we're covering what Senator Bernie Sanders is doing. You know, we have a mic. We have this lens. We have this incredible platform now, thanks to this community, the Midas Mighty. And what we're going to do is we're going to amplify pro-worker, pro-democracy, pro-healthcare, pro-climate, pro-women's reproductive rights, pro-equality, pro-empathy, pro-love, pro-democracy content. That's what we're going to do day in, day out. That's our commitment. That's our platform. It's simple.
When we get to that million, we're going to end up doing the Million Midas Mighty March. We'll all meet there in D.C.
Everybody, please, we'd love to see you. We had fun this morning. We'd love to see more of you meet us at the Zoom chat at patreon.com/political beatdown, patreon.com/political beatdown. We'd love to see you at our next one. You get to ask us questions. We love answering those questions. Also, check out Michael Cohen's audio podcast, the Mea Culpa podcast, Mea Culpa Blue. Just search Mea Culpa wherever you get your audio podcast. Leave 5-star reviews if you like the show as well. And also at the Michael Cohen Show. It's Michael Cohen's YouTube. Let's get that YouTube channel to 1 million subscribers as well. Beatdown Brigaders, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you to our mods. Thank you to all the Mightiest Mighty and the Brigaders. Thanks to Jeremy, our great producer, and all of our staff here at the network. We'll see you next time. I'm Ben Meiselas with Michael Cohen. This is Political Beatdown.